Hotels and motels have provided us with a certain quality of entertainment over the years. Strange notes, odd deaths, disturbing holotapes, and creepy terminal entries. Well, today, we should be looking at a place that provides us with most of those things. The place is called Fiddler's Green Trailer Estates, and is located just down the ways from Fort Hagen. You may first hear of it when you activate Relay Tower 0BB915, and hear the following distress signal.
Anyone out there? If you can hear me, I'm trapped inside a bunker in... What is this? Fiddler's Green Estates. Got some crawlies outside. It's nothing I couldn't normally handle, but I'm nursing a bum leg. Could use an assist.
This has been a pre-recorded message. Message repeats in 3 seconds.
So, he has been attacked by something called a crawly, his name for feral ghouls, and is trapped here with a broken leg. We do find him, but we'll get to that later. Our first corpse is a woman, in this bus shelter. She was likely killed during the initial blast, possibly eating what was ever in that box. As we start to enter the estate, we can find a lot of cars here, showing that a good amount of people were still here when the blast hit. We can enter an office of sorts here, and then things get weird. So native to this particular trailer park is a rare type of ghoul that doesn't really have much time for traditional laws of motion and gravity, and many sit suspended in the air, and I have no idea why. This one was likely on his way to Neverland before I killed it. The rest of this room is standard enough and doesn't have anything else of interest, bar a holotape we shall get to. The back room contains a terminal and a safe. The terminal unlocks the safe. The safe contains the key to one of the trailers that has some pretty decent gear in it that can actually be quite vital early on in the game, as we'll soon see. Now, underneath the ghoul, by the teddy bear, a holotape can be found called the new Squirrel Tape 1. Let's listen.
Hello, my name is Storytime Simon, and I hope you like stories, because I love to tell stories. This one is called The New Squirrel. Come with me on this magical adventure. There once was a young squirrel named Ricky who lived in a big oak tree in a city park. Ricky was a brown squirrel and lived in the oak tree with all his brown squirrel friends and family. Every day, Ricky would look out from the top of his tree and wonder what kind of squirrels lived in other trees. The older squirrels warned Ricky that the squirrels in other trees were thieves and liars. They were never to be trusted. Ricky had a rebellious heart and would not form his opinions based on anecdotal evidence. End of holotape. Please insert holotape 2.
Well, that was, something, I guess. What do you think, floating ghoul? So a man called Storytime Simon is telling what seems to be a fable of sorts. A fable being like a parable, but it usually involves anthropomorphic animals of a sort. At first listen, it seems to be geared towards kids, but the part about anecdotal evidence is, it's weird. In this tape, it's teaching us that you shouldn't form opinions on those different to you without your own first-hand data to go off. It's not bad advice. The swimming pool out the back appears to be where many of the former residents met their end. Several of them can be found dead on sun loungers, probably just out to catch some early morning rays, and then the blast killed them shortly after. I hope their clothes just wasted away and they weren't naked, as that is super inappropriate. Inside the pool, we can find a dead glowing one, possibly at the hands of the person who sent out the signal, possibly someone else's doing, and possibly because it was running beside the pool like an idiot and slipped in the water and cracked its head open and died. There's also a safe which must have been put here after the war, as it makes no sense for it to be here pre-war. Out of the pool, we can use these mailboxes to jump onto the roof. Parts of it have collapsed over the years, and it's clear someone else has been here as makeshift walkways have been set up, though it's unlikely to have been the man with a broken leg. Maybe this person here, dead beside a bloody box of drugs with bastard symbol monkeys to stand vigil beside their corpse. I don't think they're pre-war, but they have been dead for a while, suggesting other people settled here at some point. The monkeys may have been an alarm system of sorts, to wake them up if anyone came near. Next, we can drop down and head to this trailer, with an overgrown garden, and the tool to sort it out lying outside. Inside, we find another teddy, marking the next holotape. We also see a crib. This opens up the possibility that someone pre-war may have had a child here. It could also be post-war as well, but I find that quite unlikely. Now, for the holotape.
Storytime Simon here. Welcome back. And here it is, part 2 of The New Squirrel. One night, a red squirrel appeared at the bottom of Ricky's oak tree and woke Ricky and his family. "Oh, please help me," said the red squirrel. "I am lost and have nowhere to go." The elders were quick to turn the red squirrel away, but Ricky scurried down the trunk of his tree and stood firm next to the red squirrel. He yelled up at the elder squirrels, "How could you turn him away? Just because he's from another tree? He needs our help." Affected by Ricky's assuredness and determination, the elders agreed to take in the red squirrel. The red squirrel thanked Ricky for standing up for him. "You won't regret this," he said. End of holotape. Please insert holotape 3.
Alright, so the squirrel chose to help the red squirrel. Now we don't know whether these are pre or post-war, but if they are pre, then the red squirrel could be a reference to China, and the story seems to be about not giving in to stereotypes and trusting others. So this would have went against the status quo back then in a big way. The last tape is found in this trailer, with the flamingos outside, marking it as the dwelling of a madman, as they are the sigil of such people. It's marked by a bear in a refrigerator, and inside this fridge is squirrel stew. So yeah, what the fuck. Let's listen to the tape.
Storytime Simon here with the exciting conclusion to The New Squirrel. "Tomorrow we can get to know each other and become best friends," said Ricky to the red squirrel. The red squirrel made a sound that Ricky took for agreement, and the two squirrels curled up to sleep. Later that night, Ricky woke up to the sound of leaves rustling in the oak tree. He looked around. The red squirrel was gone. Ricky surveyed the landscape below and saw a pack of glowing eyes approaching the base of his tree. Cats! Ricky heard a voice from a nearby tree. It was the red squirrel. "I'm sorry," he said. "They were following me and I couldn't bring them to my tree. They would have eaten my family." As the cats ascended the tree and began to devour Ricky's friends and family, Ricky reflected on his decisions. His last words were, "I really wish I would have trusted my elders." The end.
Jesus, jump roping, Christ. Well, that, escalated isn't even the right word. I need to sit down, just for a minute. So at first, the story appeared to be about trusting others and not being racist. Well, apparently the actual lesson was to listen to what your elders are telling you, instead of ignoring them, against your better wishes. I really do think this is a story geared towards children about the Red Menace, but then again, that was way too dark. So around the outside of the estate is what looks like a tire wall, so someone may have tried to fortify this place at one point. Outside one of the trailers is also a cook fire, so it is very possible people did settle here for a while. This trailer is the one that is unlocked by the key that we found inside the leasing office, and inside is a suit of power armor that I apparently already looted. A dead soldier can also be found here. Now, given the proximity of this trailer park to Fort Hagen, the soldier was probably from there, took the power armor to this trailer, maybe after the bombs hit, took it off and just died, whether from the blast, radiation, starvation, I'm not sure. Outside that trailer, we come to the shittiest one of all, with lots of crap piled up around it. Crap that I personally feel was definitely there before the bombs hit. So there were some trashy people in this trailer park. The one behind it is equally empty and wrecked, not really giving us anything to go on apart from the fact that some people did live in pretty shit trailers. One in the far corner has a ghoul, swimming through the ground as you do, and this one here. As you can see, he is going to join the Bright Brotherhood in space, having already escaped the shackles of gravity. The trailer itself is a lot cleaner than some of the others, and has a camp station inside. This marks it out as a candidate for one of the trailers someone may have been living in post-war, with the loot crate beside the chem station being further proof. The trailer opposite that one is an empty piece of shit, though it is near a basketball hoop and a jungle gym of sorts. So this trailer park did have some children present, probably throwing bottles at people. The final trailer is very weird and has a break-dancing ghoul standing guard outside of it, but the inside's weirder. At the back of it is a still functioning terminal, and some other kind of machine beside it. The machine is hooked up to an antenna on the roof that's absent from many of the other trailers in the estate. Oddly enough, the terminal is blank. By that I mean, when I go into it, nothing is there, unless my game is glitched. Since it is still in pretty good shape, and the machine is still working, I think someone was trying to link up to something here, hence the antenna, possibly one of the former residents. Outside the trailer is a door partially hidden near these trees, a door that leads us to the underground bunker. So here we go, another makeshift bunker, slash fallout shelter. Not too bad. It's still pretty well stocked with food, though a lot of it looks to have been recently eaten. The reason is the now halfway to the bed corpse of the creator of the distress signal is here. I have no idea why his body did this. It appears they got into this bunker when the ghouls attacked and sent out the signal. However, the array was not deployed, so we're the first ones to pick up on it. It's still repeating even all this time later. I'd say they probably succumbed to their injury. Their broken leg got infected and they died. Or they may have starved to death. Interesting to note, depending on which side the ladder was on the trapdoor, this bunker should be going well into the swimming pool. Now, if it was opposite us, that's fine, but if it was on the same side of the door when we opened it, then Bethesda fucked up here, and this should be going into the swimming pool at the moment. So this was Fiddler's Green Trailer Estates, a small location that has a level of concentrated creepiness most locations this size fail to reach. We first hear of it through a distress signal we picked up once we deploy a satellite array, not far from here. It appears a settler arrived here while being pursued by a group of feral ghouls, and hid in the bunker to nurse a broken leg, the cause of which is unknown. Inside this trailer park, we also find the new Squirrel story by Storytime Simon. He tells the story of a squirrel that sheltered a red squirrel from another tree, disregarding the warnings and stereotypes that he is told. The red squirrel was actually using him as a decoy to protect his own family, and they all got slaughtered. What started out as a story to children explaining them not to be prejudiced, turned into propaganda. I do think this was in reference to the Chinese, and it was trying to explain their threat in a way children could understand, while at the same time, scaring the shite out of them. The fact that the tapes and burr are still here after all this time is, however, problematic. From the cookfires and chem stations dotted around this place, it is very likely that someone was living here after the bombs hit. The squirrel stew near the last holotape makes it more likely, which means it must have been recent. The chances of all this staying here for centuries are remote. I can believe it in a building, not out in the open like this. So what happened to the people here then? Well, the way Bunker Lad phrased it, the ghouls chased him here, which suggests that, while there were some here, most of them followed him here. I mean, all the ghouls could be the remains of past residents, but there are a lot of them, and how would he have even gotten in here if there were so many ghouls already present? This means this place could have been ideal for a settlement after the war. Since we have found no other bodies, that makes it likely that the other person here was the one that put the tapes out. For some reason. I think they were probably living in the bunker or the trailer just above it, which means they were likely the ones who set up everything inside it. In the end, we don't know whether the holotapes were recorded post or pre-war, or where all the people went, but the greatest mystery, of all, is who the person on the roof is, still watched over by monkey sentries, even in death. The story of an old trailer park, and the creepy tale that we find there. I hope you all liked this look at all of it. If you did like it, give the video a like, and if you want regular updates, subscribe. Any suggestions for lore or future videos should be left in the comments below. Better yet, go onto my subreddit, so we discuss them in more detail. It's linked in the description. If you wish to, you can support me on Patreon. £1 or $1, I ask for no more. If you have any rewards you would like to see on my Patreon, message me and I'll get back to you. Follow me on Twitter or Facebook to get regular updates or have a wee chat. Any business you wish to discuss, email me at thenthapple.business@gmail.com. and I will get back to you as soon as possible. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I hope to see you in the next one. And until then, goodbye.